Destination Mark.
Hey guys, how's it going? Marcelo here, and I know I said in the farewell stream that this was the end of my consistent Crash Team Rumble content for the channel, but that'll mean I don't still have content loaded up and ready to go. Now that Crash Team Rumble is at its end, I feel it's time for me to start diving into some of my favorite aspects about the game. So, with that said, I have several top 5 and 10 lists planned, and today we're going to dive into my top 10 favorite maps in Crash Team Rumble. Without further ado, let's get started. Number 10, Jazz Junction. Kicking off the list is the map with the never-ending party. Based off the Crash 4 level off beat, Jazz Junction takes full advantage of the ghoulish festival theme and incorporates it into the gameplay. The Masquerade Relic Station gives you one of the 4 quantum masks at random to spice up the competition, and Blue's Beatdown calls upon the ghosts themselves to shield certain parts of the map, and damage opponents who wander inside. With 4 gym pads to fight over in the middle, right next to the Blues Beatdown station, and the banks just a mere bridge cross away, with secret stairways for sneaky entrances and exits, this is one map that truly encourages beatdowns. Number 9, Tar Valley. Speaking of fighting in the middle, next up we have Tar Valley. This is one of what I'm choosing to call domination maps. Control the whole map, and you'll likely win the match. And if there's one thing here that can turn the tide to any one team's favor if they can secure it, that is, without a doubt, Aku Aku. Sure, you can put your relics to the slow shrooms, but if your team can nab Aku, your chances of coming out on top can skyrocket pretty quickly. After collecting 2 more masks, you become invincible for a lengthy period of time, so once the whole team is untouchable, you should be even more communicative than ever. Send a scorer or 2 to deposit as much Wumpa as possible, have someone, anyone really, blocking the other team's bank, and have a booster or 2 running around securing even more relics in case you have to summon Aku again, as well as KOing your opponents to deny Wumpa and relinquish them of their relics, and you'll pretty much have complete control of the map. Just be sure, again, that the whole team can become invincible. Even though you can still pick up any remaining Aku crates if you die, the other team has the opportunity to deny your invincibility by destroying the Aku crates. So try splitting your team 2 and 2 to secure crates on both sides of the map to achieve invincibility, and hopefully from there, victory. Number 8, Artisan's Arena. The first Spyro map introduced in Rumble, this one is very jump heavy, with plenty to go after. All the gem pads are located in the middle, so most of the squabble will take place there. What I usually tend to go for are the fairies. Just like in Spyro, fairies are on your side, and when obtained, they'll help boost your strength. So even the characters with the weakest damage output can do some real butt whooping. And if you can secure Gulp, he'll go all Spyro 2 on the opponents and shoot blasts from his cannons, so if you're on the receiving end, you'd better watch your step. Not the best Spyro map of the 2, we'll get there in a bit, but definitely a strong one for starters. Number 7, Surreal Summit. This map is small, but most everything comes to a head in the middle, making this one another domination map. Ika Ika can help you drop in on the enemies from above, so he's sufficient for blocking and defending banks, but the real relic station you'll likely be fighting for is the one that houses the dragons. Ever since the update that added an extra one to each bank, these guys also do an amazing job at blocking and defending, so coupled with a good blocker and a power like the mines, you can make it utter hell for the opponents to either deposit or attempt to go and block you. Ever chaotic and one of the maps that demands good coordination, I never get tired of playing on this one. Number 6, Summer Forest. And here we are with the second Spyro map. Summer Forest is the last map that was added to the game, and as far as staying faithful to its source material and furthering the insanity goes, this one certainly ticks both of those boxes. Summer Forest is big and dense, and the name of the game here is hoarding gems in place of Wumpa, so be sure to ram those thieves and summon as many moneybags as possible while going after the elemental orbs to power yourselves up and really stick it to your opponents. Plus, when it looks like there aren't very many chests or gems out in the field, don't forget to check the lesser explored spots like on top of the castle here or in the little doorways. Again, this is very faithful to Spyro in that your curious sleuthing will be rewarded. All of this adds together to make a very memorable and hectic map. Number 5, Waist Deep. Yet another domination map. This one is very fun because of how big it is. You won't be fighting too much if you're just going around hastily collecting relics and Wumpa, but you'll find a few chances to scrap if you're going for gem pads, and once again, some big fights right down in the middle of the map, as the banks are just across from each other with only the epic relic station, the Shrink Ray, to divide them. It goes without saying, but the team that can secure the Shrink Ray has a very big chance at either keeping the lead or catching up. as it becomes much easier to slap the opponents away when they're small. However, they can also be as much of a nuisance as flies if they're good enough at dodging attacks and using the smog surges to block you from scoring, so try when you can to unlock those as well. Other than that, this is a fun map with a fun theme. Number 4. Rusted Refinery. If Bane fights were crazy then, they're downright insane here, as Rusted Refinery is designed with the biggest gem pads located on top and all the important stuff down below. So you know what that means, fights are going to break out up top and then slowly trickle down to the bottom, as you fight to sabotage scoring with the flame traps and brawl for the chance to literally blow the competition away with the sandstorm. Or Darude as we call it. Like in Tar Valley, sure the explosive jump can come in handy, but Greg's on banks, fly traps spinning and Cortex pianos dropping down from Gen Pad A, and flame traps dominate this map. So take up one of those roles and watch the madness unfold. Number 3. Just Beachy. This place is fun because it's the opposite of most of the other maps I've talked about. This one is relatively relaxed. You can consider it a domination map since everyone will likely want to fight for the bonus bank in the middle, but personally I have won and lost plenty of matches without anyone ever going for it. If anything, this is, in my opinion, one of the rare times where common relic stations shine more consistently, as beach balls are constantly activated and used to secure gem pads and block or defend banks. This is a short and flat map, designed to be the tutorial stage for beginners, and I can't help but reminisce on all the crazy early matches we had here back at the Activision event. We were all shouting and hollering, trying to bank in the 2k before the other team could, and it always ended up in wins and losses by only a few fruit. So I kind of have nothing but mainly good memories of this map. Just Beachy is here to show that sometimes short and simple can be just as fun. Number 2. Tiki Towers. One of the defining maps of the game, and featured quite prominently in the early marketing, I also love this one for how simplistic it can be, but also how equally insane it can get. Another domination map, there are two things everyone always goes for: Gem Pad B and Uka Uka. I'd say of course to definitely hoard relics for Uka, but also try to secure Gem Pads A and C if your character can't hold up well in fights. You'll actually hold more percentage over the opponents if all they can get is B. Also, while Uka is a giant help in turning the tides, you do want to also secure the bombardment around the time you summon him as well. And be sure not to die while Uka's active, because unlike Aku, you can't get Uka back. Overall, another fun map with plenty of verticality and a lot of room for strategy. Before we get to number 1, I want to shout out Insanity Caverns as an honorable mention. This almost made the list, but there's one reason why it didn't, and you can probably guess what it is. Caverns is a very vertical map, which I like, as everyone usually goes and fights on Gem Pad B, and the boosters will have scrambling for relics like in Tar Valley. Now at first Lonnie Lily wasn't seen as a strong quartermass to equip, but I felt, even before the small damage buff, that his invisibility was still useful for what Miharu and I like to call shadow scoring, or scoring while invisible so any blockers who may be guarding your bank won't notice you. It's worth throwing some relics to him for that, but as we all know, this is yet another domination map. Everyone goes for the Spirit Guardians. These will make the entire team enormous and very tough to KO, as they now have the power to stomp around and wipe the floor with you. If your team can secure it, it can again become a game changer, but if the opposite team gets them and they're really good, you hardly stand a chance. And unfortunately, I've personally had more embarrassing losses here than clutch wins. So even though I like this place, I'm not always eager to fight here, especially if the other team is really good. And that leaves us with my number 1 favorite Crash Team Rumble map, Calamity Canyon. Again, like with Just Beachy, I fell in love with this one as early as the Activision event. Calamity Canyon is a relatively simple map, but where the chaos comes from is the middle. Not necessarily because Oxide's there, this can be considered a domination map but isn't really, but because the team spawns and respective banks form an X, so everyone will at some point intersect in the middle. Oxide's not strong enough to always make it worth unlocking him, but again, this is where the common relic stations shine, as this is the perfect place for the Junker Balls and Force Fields. The former will certainly allow you to control the map if you can unlock each one, and the latter is very helpful in limiting the other team's movement options when they approach whichever bank you activated it on, if not both. Matches can go either way here. The aesthetic is based off of one of my favorite worlds from Crash 4, and it's just always a joy to come here and kick some ass. And there you have it, folks. This is my list of favorite Rumble maps. Are some of these your faves as well, or do you like some of the others that weren't shown here? Let's talk about it down in the comments, and until next time, I'm Mark, thanks for watching, and take care.